Diego Armando Maradona, a child born on the 30th of October 1960 to a poor family, grew in leaps and bounds in his footballing career, acquiring legendary status. Maradona, who made headlines during his time, was most popularly known for his hand of God goal, a goal which he scored against England during the quarter-finals match of the 1986 FIFA World Cup. Diego Maradona died on Wednesday, the 25th of November 2020 at the age of 60 after he experienced cardiac arrest, and medics were unfortunately unable to revive him. 3 days of national mourning was declared in Argentina, and tributes from across the world poured in.
I think we should remember his greatness, how wonderful he was with the football, how much joy he's given to so many fans all over the world, not just in Argentina. But he was like a magician with the ball. He could do things that mere mortals couldn't do. He had a vision that mere mortals didn't have. He was fiercely competitive. He was a natural leader. Obviously he had troubles off the field, but the memories that will stick with me are the magnificence of his football.
His life, I think, shows how nice life can be when you are a world-class footballer, and how difficult it can be as well. So he was a very, very impressive figure.
Diego Maradona was my idol growing up. He was a person that, I was always born into a football family, but he was the player on the world stage that made me fall in love with the game. I remember vividly moments of World Cups in my early years. I wasn't even that put out by the hand of God. I was as an England fan, but his individual brilliance overcame that as I grew up. Was fortunate enough to meet him very briefly. He's a footballing god, and it's very sad that he's not with us.
Maradona and Diego. Maradona, the world knows. The world never forget. Then is Diego the guy, and that one I miss. And I feel sorry that I didn't spend more time with him. I would love. I think his family, his big friends, his colleagues, they are very privileged to spend and to know Diego well. I know him well enough. And in my big defeats, he would always call me. In my victories, never. But I will miss Diego, and I still, of course, I'm very sad, but I have a smile, because with him, every minute I spent with him was to laugh.
The UEFA Champions and Europa League games witnessed moments of silence for the legend. The year 2020 has been filled with a lot of ups and downs, from COVID-19 to the passing of big names in different industries. Sadly, the world of sports witnessed one. Diego Armando Maradona, famously known for the iconic Hand of God goal, indeed goes to rest in the hands of God. May his gentle soul continue to rest in peace. Well, we have Emmanuel Amuneke, who once played for Nigeria, and he also played against Maradona when he was alive, and that was far back in the 1994 World Cup. Good to have you with us, Emmanuel Amuneke.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The legend has passed on, talking about Diego Armando Maradona, and the whole world is mourning this legend who made football great.
Well, it's a sad moment, I think, for the family of football. Like I have said, I personally, my first time of watching World Cup was in the World Cup of Mexico. And the first game I was privileged to watch was the game against England. We were kind of watching this guy, so amazing, the way he handles the ball, the intelligence in him, the decisions making on and off the ball. And then after the game, every one of us, we ran to the street and we were shouting Maradona, Maradona. At that particular time, everybody begins to try to emulate what he is doing, what he has done on the game, and everybody begins to answer Maradona. And then for me, after some years, and I was privileged again to play against him in the World Cup, 94. I think, for me, it's a privilege. And looking at what Diego, has done, it shows us that in life, when you are determined and dedicated towards what you are doing, achieving success is possible. But unfortunately, the news in terms of the opposite side of the life, has dominated Maradona life. People at times don't even talk about his contribution, what he has done. They more talk about his lifestyle. But like those of us that grew up knowing him and watched him play, the memories remain, and having the privilege to play against him in 94, for me, it's a very, very big and great honor.
True. Now let's talk about that match, USA 94, where Nigeria played against Argentina. Playing against big name players, of course, Nigeria, we had big names as well, but Maradona felt like that name was the biggest in the world of football. How was it for you? Was it easy? Was it a difficult task playing against Maradona?
In football, you must also defend, like you mentioned, when you don't have the ball. Of course, defending Maradona is a collective ambition. In modern football, sometimes you find yourself out of position. And the out of position you find yourself requires that you have to do the job at that particular moment before moving back to your normal position. I think we came into that game with a whole lot of confidence, after winning Bulgaria 3-0 in our first game. And then having it in mind that if we can pick a draw, or if we win this game, automatically we have qualified for the next round. So we came into the game determination, tough. I could remember after the game when he gave a press conference, he was saying that he played against boxers. He felt the impact of, people, the way we attack him, the way we rush him when he has the ball. But of course, you still can never do away the intelligence of him. You could see the goal they scored us. We were naive in that aspect. In times of foul, we never asked for distance. Him himself, as a player, never asked for a distance from the player. Then he just passed the ball immediately to one of his teammates, and immediately they scored us. So it all shows the kind of quality and intelligence and what Maradona represents. And watching him in the World Cup and then single-handed leading his team again in 1990 to the World Cup final. Unfortunately, they lost it. It shows how brave he is. It shows how committed and how intelligent he is. But of course, what we can say now is that may his soul rest in peace, and God will give his family the grace, to stand this difficult time. The whole world is mourning. Maradona does not only represent Argentine football or the South Americans. I think Maradona represents the whole world, and those of us that have been privileged to watch him, the memories remain in us, and we thank him for what he has done during his playing days.
True. Now let's talk about, there's something we've not really talked about for a while now concerning Maradona. His jersey, the number 10 jersey. I mean, when it comes to sports, when a legend passes on, there's this culture of retiring that jersey number. Remember Kobe Bryant when he died, the number 24 jersey and the number 8 jersey was retired. No one will ever wear that jersey again in the Lakers. Do you think it is going to be proper to retire the number 10 jersey? We know that Lionel Messi currently is the holder of that number 10 jersey, but won't it be a big honor to retire that number 10 jersey in memory of Diego Maradona?
Well, I think it all depends on the decision, how the Argentines, federation, or how the people sees it. But of course, I think also, it's good for maybe Messi to continue to wear the jersey. It also remember that Maradona lives on. It's also remember that the number 10 jersey is not just for anyhow player. It's for players that can bring something special into the team. It's for players that knows what they are playing for the national team. We shouldn't forget that Maradona makes a feeling about his country into the game. So for him, when he was wearing that jersey, he represents everything for the Argentines. He represents everything for the South American. And I think if they decide to honor him on that by keeping the jersey away, retiring the jersey, fine. But of course, for me, in my own view, I believe that the jersey should live on. And you always remember that once upon a time, there was this great guy that's called Maradona, have won this jersey that have brought a lot of glory to the country, to the continent, to the entire world. So I think, but all decision depends on the Argentines, how they want to honor him. But of course, retiring the jersey or wearing the jersey can never take anything away from what Maradona has done in the game. He changed the concept of the game. He changed the concept of playing. He brought a new ideas into the game. He made people to believe that through hard work, commitment, patience, success is achievable. And I think, it's great seeing such an impact. And you can see today, football has continuously evolving in different aspects. And the changes that the game is coming up is what enables people to adapt to the changes and then move from one level to another. During the time of Maradona, most players, were not all that much protected like what we are seeing today. The players are much, much protected. But during the time when they play, the level of injuries, the level of tackling was so high. So I think for you to do all those things in that period of time and then brought something different, it represents a whole lot of things.
True. Was there at any point in time you had a close contact with Maradona, maybe playing alongside him?
No, actually, after that 94, the last time I met him and saw him and greeted him was in London during the FIFA award. After the best award, I think. That was the time I saw him. He was also in the gala because he presented one of the awards to a player. If I'm not mistaken, maybe Cristiano Ronaldo, I think. So I greeted him and I paid my respect to him. And also he recognized me. I said, Amuneke, how are you? I said, I'm fine, sir. So I greeted him.
Wow, such a sad one. Now, lastly, let's come back home. The way we get to celebrate those who have served the nation, do you think the country is doing enough? Remember the time of Rashidi Yekini, Sam Okwaraji and all. Do you think the country is doing enough to celebrate the fallen heroes?
Well, I think I'm not the one to say if the country is doing enough to celebrate our people that have done so much in their own way in the areas they belong to. I think, but it's our responsibilities, to look at our people. We shouldn't be a country that we only use our, when people are doing something, that's the time we recognize them. We should remember that also, when a young guy starts doing what he loves, there will come a time when age, tiredness begin to catch up on him. So it's also our responsibility to look at our individuals that have, done so well for the country, to also take care of them, to also, be worried for them, to also know their well-being. You mentioned Yekini issue. Sometimes it's so saddening, we cannot keep on. I can categorically say probably maybe the system, we failed Yekini in times of. This is somebody that have played the game to the highest level. This is somebody that has also brought smile into millions of Nigerians. Not only that, beyond that also. And we were hearing he has problem. People, countries, nobody has even, taken it upon him to find out what is the problem. Probably people have done that, but, we should be more caring. We can honor people when you are alive. I think it's much better honoring people when they are dead. And when you honor people when they are dead, for me, it's irrelevant because the person in question will not have the capacity to tell you thank you. But when you honor him when he's alive, at least he can tell you thank you. But when someone is dead and we all want to do a kind of ceremony to show that we care, I think it's a little bit of hypocrisy and a little bit of deceit. We should honor our people when they are alive. When you promise people things, you should give it to them when they are alive. Because it also gladdens their hearts. It also, make them to feel, yes, this is my country. But whereby when something is happening to somebody, we turn it like a story. It became the other opposite side. And then when the person died, we want to come and show we love him. I think it's deceit and it's not accepted. But who am I to say what we're going to do for people? My prayer always has been those of us that have done our part during our youthful age, God should give us the grace, to continue to do what we know and what is good in the eyes of man and God. And God should also give us the grace to be able to take care of ourselves. That is my prayer. Yeah. If anybody decide to honor you, it's a welcome story. If people don't want to honor you, you just have to, respect yourself, live peacefully with your neighbor, respect people, and then when your time comes up, then you thank God and that brought you onto the world. I think that's how I see life. How going around they honor us, they don't honor us. For me, it's irrelevant.
All right. I have Okwe Adebari right here, and he has a question to ask you before we let you go.
All right, Mr. Amuneke, you had an illustrious career, currently, even while in Spain, and then you played with a lot of great attackers, and then you did play against Diego Armando Maradona. I need to ask, do you think he is the best attacker that you ever faced, or was there anyone close to the caliber of Maradona?
Well, I think Maradona is the best I have ever seen. Although I have played alongside with many players like Figo, Guardiola, Ronaldo, but I think Maradona is something different. He's special. The football intelligence, the vision. This is a guy that can single-handed, win a game. So he's very, very, his talent is far beyond what we see. It's like today when you watch Messi, you say the intelligent aspect of the player, the decisions making of the player is far beyond. There are players that are gifted that can see beyond where other players cannot see in the field of play, and I think Maradona belongs to that class. He's not a big guy, he's not something, but the intelligence in him, represents a whole lot of things when it comes to football. I think I take Maradona at any time. Yeah, Messi, Cristiano, this new generation. And they also involve with the new changes that the game brought into.
Thank you very much for your time, Emmanuel Amuneke, former Super Eagles winger and attacker. We say thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you. And for Diego Armando Maradona, we say may his gentle soul continue to rest in peace.